So for summer 2025, we actually have two brand new mid-size speakers to choose from, the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3. But today we're going to compare them to both the Bose Flex Gen 2 and the Beats Pill. Now all of these speakers are similarly priced, but both the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3 are noticeably bigger than both the Bose and Beats Pill. Now, I know that this comparison is a little weird, but we're here because of pricing and inflation. Now, both the Bose Flex 2 and the Beats Pill have a retail price of $150, which I do feel is a lot because these are small size speakers. But then there are both the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3, which both have retail prices of $200. And before inflation, I would have expected these speakers to retail for $150 to $180 at the most. However, I do expect both the JBL and Sony to go on sale more frequently than either the Bose or Beats Pill. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, then you can always pick up some merch. So first, there's the design of these speakers. Now, all of these speakers are durable, portable, and waterproof. However, both the Sony ULT Field 3 and the JBL Charge 6 are larger than these other two speakers because these are mid-size speakers, whereas both the Bose and Beats Pill are more like small plus-size speakers. Now, with both the Bose and Beats Pill, they do have a built-in loop, so you can attach these speakers to your backpack or hang them from something. But I actually feel that both the JBL and Sony are more comfortable to travel with. Now, the Charge 6 has a carrying handle which can be used in two different positions, but the Sony has a full-on shoulder strap. So if you're looking for something portable, I actually think that both the JBL and Sony are more portable than the Bose and Beats Pill, despite them being significantly larger. And ultimately, I do think that the Sony is the most comfortable speaker to travel here with just because of the included carrying strap. But one minor detail to keep in mind here is that with all of these speakers, they have exposed USB-C ports except for the Sony. So if you're planning on taking any of these speakers to somewhere where they're might gonna get wet, like let's say the beach or the pool, then you might want to go with the Sony, because with the Sony, you don't have to wait for the speaker to be completely dry before you can charge it. And I know that this is a very specific problem, but I am pointing it out because this is something that I would have to deal with my JBL speakers whenever I would take them to the beach or the lake. Now, when it comes to battery life, sadly, the Bose just can't keep up here. Now, this speaker has an advertised battery life of 12 hours, and a real-world use with this speaker playing at 80% volume is going to be good for around 7 hours of playback time. Whereas with all of these other speakers, they all have an advertised battery life of 24 hours and real-world use with the Beats Pill playing at 90% volume, because this speaker is a little quiet for its size and price, so you might end up using the speaker at a higher volume on a regular basis. Is going to be good for around 9 hours of playback time. Whereas with both the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3 playing at 80% volume, these two speakers are going to be louder than the Beats Pill, and they're going to have more bass as well. And the Charge 6 is going to be good for around 10 hours of playback time, and the Sony ULT Field 3 is going to be good for around 12 hours of playback time. And to charge all of these speakers, like I mentioned earlier, they're all charged via a USB-C port as they should. And with the Beats Pill, JBL, and Sony, you can also use their USB-C ports to charge your own devices, which I feel is super useful, especially if you plan on taking any of these speakers to the beach with you. But you can also use the USB-C port on the JBL Charge 6 or Beats Pill as a wired connection. And when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these speakers can be connected to two devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for any of these speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, all of these speakers have support for SBC and AAC. But wait, if you want to further support the channel, then check out our affiliate partner, TheraBody, specifically the TheraGun Prime Plus. Now, I've been using the TheraGun Prime Plus for the last 4 months, and before that, I was using the TheraGun Mini for over 3 years. Honestly, these TheraGuns have changed my life. I use them at least 2 times a day. In the morning, they help loosen me up and improve my flexibility, so I can more easily move around my day much more comfortably, and they also help prevent injuries while at the gym. And at night, like to use them before going to bed because I'm able to go to sleep feeling a lot more relaxed and less tense. And overall, the TheraGun Prime Plus really helps alleviate soreness, and it helps speed up recovery thanks to the heated ball attachment, which not only gives your muscles a deep tissue massage, it also applies a lot of heat, which helps improve circulation. My TheraGun Prime Plus is one of my most important pieces of tech in the house. It's literally up there with my phone. So if you want to try out the TheraGun Prime Plus, use our link down below for an easy 30-day trial. Honestly, I can't recommend this product enough. Both all that being said, let's talk about sound. Regarding speaker setup, the Bose has the most basic setup here. It has a single front firing driver with dual pass radiators that shoot out the front and out the back, whereas the Beats Pill has a woofer and tweeter setup but no passive radiators. And then there are both the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3, which both have a front firing woofer, a front firing tweeter, and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides. And the fact that the Beats, Sony, and JBL have a woofer and tweeter setup is a big deal, because this is just going to help with your overall instrument separation. So like we have just seen, the woofer handles the mids and the tweeter handles the highs, and this is just going to help with the Sony, JBL, and Beats Pill all have better instrument separation, and they're all going to sound more open. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All of these speakers are playing while at 75% volume, and the Sony is playing with its ULT feature turned on.
I know you're a 10, it's some kind of magic. We both know it right away. I came here to party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic, we both know it right away. When I see you dancing, I know you're a 10, it's some kind of magic. We both know it right away. I came here to party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic. I feel this vibe goes from my heart right to my fingertips. Oh, I need you to tell me now how
So first, we need to talk about max volume performance. Now, both the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3 are mid-size speakers, and both the Beats Pill and the Bose are small-size speakers, but we're doing this comparison because we're in a bit of a weird place because of pricing and inflation. But regardless, both the JBL and Sony get way louder than these other two speakers, and they both have more bass. But also, I do feel that the Beats Pill is a little quiet for its size and its price. But nonetheless, both the JBL and Sony get much louder than these other two speakers, and I feel that they're going to be good for like an 8, maybe 10 person get together. But more importantly, when it comes to sound quality with the Bose, since this speaker lacks a tweeter like these other three speakers, this speaker sounds the least open and it leans towards a warmer sound signature. It has a lot of bass, but it sounds a little muffled by comparison. But then there's the Beats Pill, which does have a tweeter, so this speaker sounds a lot more open than the Bose. However, since this speaker is missing passive radiators, it just doesn't have all that much kick in its bass, so this speaker isn't as fun to listen to. But since both the JBL and the Sony have a woofer, a tweeter, and dual passive radiators, both of these speakers have a lot of bass just like the Bose, and even noticeably more because they are bigger and louder, and they both sound as open as the Beats Pill. So with both the JBL and the Sony, you're going to get more sound and better sound than with either the Bose or Beats Pill. But ultimately, I do feel that the Sony ULT Field 3 sounds a little better than the JBL Charge 6, because with this speaker, distortion is never a problem. Because with the JBL Charge 6, I feel that JBL is pushing their newer speakers, both the Charge 6 and the Flip 7, a little too hard, and sometimes you might hear a little bit of distortion in the highs when you're using them at higher volumes. Now, I know that you didn't hear any distortion during the sound test, but I have heard a little bit of distortion in my private listening sessions, but it only happened on like very rare occasions. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can wirelessly pair them up and get them to play in left or right stereo mode. And with the Beats Pill, that's it. Now, with the Bose Flex 2, you can pair it up to a Bose SoundLink Max or a Bose Flex 2, but you can only have a total of 2 speakers wirelessly connected to one another. Whereas with the Sony ULT Field 3, it's using Sony's Party Connect, so you can pair it up with other Sony speakers that are also using Party Connect, like either the Sony ULT Field 7, which is another speaker that you guys are just sleeping on, or the Sony XG500, XG300, XE300, XE200, or to an XP43, XP33, XP23, or to another ULT Field 3, or to an ULT Field 5, and you can pair up to 100 speakers together and get them to play in sync. But you can also pair up your smaller Sony speakers that are also using Party Connect to any of Sony's larger box speakers, like either the Sony ULT Tower 10, ULT Tower 9, or to an XV800, XV900, or XV500. The only unfortunate thing here is you cannot connect the Sony ULT Field 3 to the Sony ULT Field 1 because unfortunately the Sony ULT Field 1 does not use Party Connect. And I do feel that this is very unfortunate because the Sony ULT Field 1 is currently my favorite small size speaker to use and recommend, and I actually prefer this speaker over the JBL Flip 7. But then there's the JBL Charge 6, and this speaker is using Auracast, so you can pair it up to other JBL speakers that are also using Auracast, like either another JBL Charge 6 or to an Extreme 4, Flip 7, Clip 5, or Go 4, and you can also pair it up to JBL's larger Party Box speakers that are also using Auracast, like either the Party Box Encore 2 or Party Box 120, 320, 520, or Party Box Ultimate. And also with Auracast, you can pair your JBL Charge 6 to non-JBL speakers that are also using Auracast. So with the JBL Charge 6, it's a lot more versatile if you plan on growing your collection of speakers. However, with the JBL Charge 6, you cannot pair it up to any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost. Only the JBL Extreme 4 can connect to both Auracast speakers and Party Boost speakers, and I don't know if the JBL Charge 6 will be getting a firmware update in the future so that it'll also be able to do this. So if you have any Party Boost speakers, then you might want to get the JBL Extreme 4. But with all that being said, if you're trying to choose between any of these four speakers, obviously you're going to be better off with going with either the JBL Charge 6 or the Sony ULT Field 3. But we're having to do this comparison because we're in a bit of a weird place because of pricing and inflation. But more importantly, both the JBL Charge 6 and Sony ULT Field 3 get louder and have more bass than both the Beats Pill and the Bose Flex 2. And you're going to get overall better sound as well. But if you're trying to choose between the JBL Charge 6 and the Sony ULT Field 3, I honestly think that it is a tough call. Now, you can't go wrong with either one, but I do feel that the Sony ULT Field 3 sounds a little better than the JBL Charge 6. The Sony sounds better in the mids and it puts out a little more bass and it gets a little louder. Plus, distortion is never an issue for the speaker. Now, the JBL Charge 6 also sounds good, but I do feel that JBL is pushing the speaker a little too hard because sometimes you might hear a little bit of distortion in the highs at those higher volumes. But since the JBL Charge 6 is noticeably smaller than the Sony ULT Field 3, I feel the JBL Charge 6 is more impressive from a sound to size ratio. Honestly, I think Auracast might be the deciding factor for some people, but I do prefer the ULT Field 3 here because it does come included with that shoulder strap. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.